Good morning, everyone, and welcome to part 2 of Q&A with me. I hope you all get to know me a little bit more, and yeah, let's get into the video. Do you miss your old program? Yeah, I do miss my old program just because I've developed a relationship with not only my cohort mates, also my professors, and yes, I do miss them. Yes, and I was hoping to see them during the winter time because we were supposed to have an in-person winter graduation, but now it's virtual, so I don't know when I'm gonna see them again. Okay, how's wedding planning going? It's going. Like just for Corey and I, for the both of us, we are both in graduate school at the same time. He graduates in May and I have some ways to go. So, you know, by the time we finish like doing coursework all day, finishing whatever, the energy that we have is like none. So like it is hard, but I think hopefully when we get to the break, like because I finished school before him this semester, so hopefully when the break comes, we can really start to do some stuff, call some people, and put things really into action. So yes. Okay, how many years did your master's take off your doctoral journey? So my master's took off about like a year and a half. So technically my program is like a 5 to 6 year program just because they don't go to school in the summer. But I will be able to finish my coursework in about 3 more years, then I'll go on internship, and then I'll graduate, and then if I decide to do a postdoc, then there you have it. So yeah. Can you be a school psychologist when you're a clinical psychologist? I see this all the time. So what happens is that clinical psychologists are trained a little bit differently than school psychologists are, but some way, somehow, yes. Long story short, yes, you can be. There's some maneuvering that you're gonna have to do, especially if you know in the beginning that yes, like I might want to work in a school and you're in a clinical psychology program. Maybe let your advisor know, because maybe there are some courses that you can take that kind of check off the box that you don't have to take later after you've graduated to get a license as a school psychologist. But yes, you can. I've looked it up. Especially when I was thinking about clinical psychology programs, I was like, well, will I be able to do blah, blah, blah. I've looked it up, and yes, you can. But if you know you want to be a school psychologist, if you know in your heart of hearts you want to be a school psychologist, go the school psychology route. Do you feel like you're in competition with other people in your program? Okay, so I've also seen this quite a lot. And the thing about this is that, honestly, in your program, and this goes back to what I just said about rejection, is what's for you is for you. Honestly, in my program, I feel like it's me versus me. Like I am like competing with my best self. I'm always improving on my best self. I'm not looking to the left or to the right to see what they've got going on, because they're not me. They are not Erica, and that's just how it is. So I don't feel in competition with others, and yeah, and I hope no one goes into a program feeling like they have to be competitive. That was another thing. When I was looking at programs, I was talking to the students in the program to see how they felt about, you know, the climate of the program. Like, is there a strong competitive aspect included in this, or do you feel like this is a community and all of that stuff? So yes. Advice for a personal statement. Can you help me with my personal statement? The answer to this is yes. In my bio or in my description box, there's an email. You can email me. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to get to you in 2 days or something, because I am a full-time student, but yes, I can read over it and give you some advice and some tips just based off my experience and what I did. As you all know, that I had to come hard in my personal statement. I had a 3.0 GPA, and I had a GRE score that was low, like a 280, I think. So yes, I had to come hard with my personal statement. So yes, I've got some tips, and one of those to stand out is to, if you have a negative experience, don't let that negative experience shine greater than who you are. Don't let that frame and box you in. So in your personal statement, pull out the positives of of that. Also include a meaningful quote that definitely captures who you are. And that was one thing, because you know, people, especially PhD programs, they love a good theory, they love a good philosophy. So throwing that, I threw in the Toni Morrison quote about empowering people, and it's your job when you get free to also free other people and empower other people. And that's me, so that's what I did. So yes, I can read through it, I can help you, and yeah. What are your research interests? So I am really interested in school community partnerships, and the reason for that is I think that when we have wraparound services in schools, we're increasing equity, and I don't want to like get all the way into it. So that's one thing that I'm interested in. I'm also interested in diversity, equity, and inclusion practices in graduate programs and also in schools. And yeah, I'm interested in that. I love advocating for voices and empowering and amplifying and all of those good things. I also really enjoy academic interventions and looking at that. So a combination of a whole bunch of stuff. I want to apply for a doctoral program straight out of undergrad, but not 100% sure what my research interests are. Advice. So my advice is to talk about this in the personal statement. When you know that you have found a potential advisor for wherever you want to go, I think it's really important for you to see the broad interest that the advisor has, and then try and, you know, say that you're going to use your doctoral studies to explore that under the mentorship or advisement of this person who can help you properly explore things. And then they will definitely throw different things your way to challenge you and to get you exposed to new things. The thing about doctoral programs that I like is that most of them understand that this is a exploring time for in your first year. So they're not always looking for you to know, I want to do this, I want to have this, I want to do this, and I want to do that. Sometimes they really do like students who are saying, I'm coming here to just be a sponge and absorb things, and then hopefully the things that I absorb, I can navigate and I can be my best self in this area, in this context, in this. So that is my advice, is to just make it clear cut and known that that's what you want to do. Do you know how psych grad students manage their mental health? So I've looked into this just because I've also been interested in that. And when I was applying, I definitely read every single program's handbook, and most of the handbooks have a little section where they actually say we encourage our students to seek therapeutic services or therapy from the counseling and psychological services, either on campus or off campus resources. And I think that that's important. That's an important statement that programs include in their handbooks, is because when you are in a psychology program, especially a psychology program that is training you to be a practitioner, you are learning how to balance a lot of things. You're balancing coursework, you're balancing your own feelings, your own things that you're experiencing yourself, and then also you're also seeing clients. And so sometimes you might have silent battles that, you know, you don't have to be there alone in that. And so I think that that's important, that that programs encourage that. So that is one way that they do that. So my stats are average, nothing special, but should I still apply? So yes, if my story is not an example enough, I don't know what is. Like I've said, I did not have glowing stats. It wasn't like this thing where I just felt like I was going to be a hot commodity. I did not feel that way at all, but I still applied. And like I said, I applied to 9 schools, and okay, so I did it. And the thing about that is seeing yourself bigger than the frame that you're even saying right now. You are bigger than the GRE score, you're bigger than your GPA, and you are definitely bigger than whatever else you feel like is definitely a deficit in your case. You are bigger than that, and you have to frame yourself outside of that, because if that's what you're giving them, then that's all that they're going to see. But if you let them know that you are more than that and you communicate that well, they will see you outside of that story. So, and I definitely did that with my personal statement. Like I said, I had to come hard with that personal statement because, yeah. And last question is, in this virtual Zoom climate and as a graduate student, have you been assigned to develop a lessons learned manual that documents best practices? I haven't been necessarily assigned that, but I definitely know that researchers are definitely documenting what people are doing right. Right now, people are trying to figure out how to best navigate virtual learning, and so everyone is trying a whole bunch of different things. Especially when I'm on Twitter, I'm looking and I'm saying, what are people doing? What are people doing? Can I do it? Can I try it? Is it feasible? So people are definitely researching these things and making their own manuals, and I'm pretty sure it'll be out by next year, and so we can all grow as a community. I am so glad that you all have watched part 1, and this is part 2. This is the end of the questions. I might do an updated Q&A probably at the end of my first year, because just different things change. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next week.